This is your advertising campaign for Atelier 2. They certainly know their demographic. Core values. Whoever is on Koei Tecmo's promotion team for this title really knew what they were doing here. So if you're familiar with the Z-Man cinematic universe lore, I do have some familiarity with the Atelier series. I reviewed Lydia and Sue back in 2018 and didn't care for it. I played Lulua back in 2019 and didn't care for it either. And I thought I was done with the franchise at that point. Like, these games are just not my thing, they're pretty mediocre. However, in 2019, Gust announced a new Atelier game called Atelier Ryza, and it looked like a marked improvement over previous titles with different gameplay, better production values, higher graphics, and a protagonist that has a lot, and I do mean a lot, of fan art of her online. While I didn't get around to playing the first game, I do have the sequel here, Atelier Ryza 2, and the giant subtitle. So, let's check it out today. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it that much of an improvement over previous Atelier titles? Well, let's find out in this review. And before I get into the review, again, this is the Japanese version, so some things may or may not be different for the domestic release. And before I also get into the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell as well. That way you get notified whenever I upload a new video. That really helps the channel grow. And you can follow me on social media, Twitter, Instagram at ZMings. And with that out of the way, let's begin. So, what's the plot of Atelier Ryza 2? And at first, for the Atelier series, we have a direct sequel, where we continue the story of, well, Ryza. After 3 years from the events of Ryza 1, Ryza's crew split up and went their own paths. After hitting a wall with her alchemy, Ryza is given a mysterious egg, and she decides to venture into the capital of Ashrambard to reunite with her friends and go on another journey and tie up the loose ends from Ryza 1. I did not play Ryza 1. I wanted to review it, but I was going through some stuff at the time and didn't get around to it because I just couldn't be bothered. I was a bit lost going into this title, but I did get oriented fairly quickly, but the game does assume you know who these returning characters are. And it didn't help that I skipped a lot of cutscenes because I wanted to get through this game faster, but it does have a text log if you are impatient like me. But first things first, I gotta give Gust credit here. They really stepped up the graphical presentation in Ryza 2. The previous Atelier games I've played on the Switch looked like Dreamcast games upscaled to HD, and that was not a compliment. Ryza 2 really buffs up the technical side of things, and it shows. Really nice lighting, really big environments that have a lot of color and look really cool in places. And one little thing I like is that after it rains, there's puddles on the ground. Little stuff like that really helps with immersion. Remember kids, if you don't have a huge budget, focus on making your game visually appealing with a great art style. And I like how the models look. Their faces are really nice and expressive, and the camera is clearly in love with Ryza's curves. R/bless the cameraman. That said, the models are as stiff as ever. Everybody still does that Gust pose, but it looks like they forgot to put on their deodorant. I have yet to see anyone in real life stand like this as their default position of comfort. That aside, the art style and character designs are very nice. I love the costume designs from Gust. It's pretty clear who is an important character because they are the only characters who look like they shop at stores that isn't the Walmart bargain bin. In any of the Gust games I've played, the voice acting and music are never the weak points. All the music fits the game well, and I find myself listening to it outside the context of the game, and that goes for the other Gust titles I've played. But I will say I found the little monster thing Fee's voice really annoying. Was it with characters named Fee that just love to piss me the heck off? Combat is a little bit different this time around. And by a little bit different, I mean a lot of bit different from previous Atelier games. The previous games were a classic turn-based RPG system, but now it's a real-time system that is vaguely reminiscent of Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and Blue Reflection, except not really. Everything is on a timer, and when your character moves to the center of that timer, then they attack. If you have enough AP, you can do special attacks. Your party has 3 active party members, and if you do special attacks at the right time, you can combo off of each other for huge damage. But if you do special attacks, you move further back in the timeline, making it longer for you to attack again. So there is a bit of strategy involved in when to use a special move, when to use an item, or just use your default attack. Battles move super quick, and honestly, it was kind of a lot. It felt like stuff was just happening, but hey, it looked pretty cool. I think I would have preferred something like Blue Reflection, where in that game, when your characters went into the timer, the game paused so you can choose your action. One thing that is annoying is that it's hard to know what bad guy is going to attack what character. I found myself just kind of going between characters and making sure that they weren't going to get attacked next. I took a lot of unnecessary damage and lost a few battles just because my characters kept getting hit when I think in another game I could have probably defended myself. Still, with a bit of practice, you do get used to the combat. Or just dial it down to easy, that's fine too. But the focus of the Atelier games isn't the combat, it's the crafting. And boy howdy did they really make crafting not a chore this time. You just pick the ingredients, put them in the pot, and boom, you get your product. I don't think you can fail crafting this time, unlike other Atelier titles. Crafting is actually kind of fun in this game. And while leveling up is important, your big damage comes from crafting and upgrading your gear and making consumables such as bombs for battle. You also need to craft things such as ropes to get around, or fishing rods or pickaxes to gather more material. So it's in your best interest to gather as much stuff as possible and craft what you can to get through the title. As many quality of life improvements Ryza 2 has made to the Atelier games, there's still some basic things Gust couldn't get right. Look, game, when I craft consumables, I want to use the consumables. It should go like this: craft item, hit A to put into the inventory box, hit X to move to your equipment. One time I was grinding out in the field and gathering materials, and was running low on health. I thought I made a bunch of healers, but they were stuck back at the Atelier. So I had to fast travel back to my home, equip my items, then I could use my equipment in the field. So be warned, your items do not get moved into your item pouch, you have to equip them first. Also, the map system sucks. It's easy and clear to see where to go on the mini-map. Anywhere that's green means you gotta go there to progress the story. That's cool, but when you pull up the mini-map, you can't view the other mini areas in that region. So if you need to go somewhere, you gotta close the mini-map, pull up the world map, then sacrifice some in-game time to go to where you need to be. And also on the mini-map, it doesn't label what buildings are in that area. Come on, Gust, this is basic stuff. And for maps this big, it would have been really nice to have the ability to set up some waypoints. One of the easiest ways for me to get cheesed off at a game is to be fiddling around with the map too much, and I was definitely map fiddling in this game. On the upside, fast travel is super convenient and only costs a little bit of in-game time to use, and that isn't much of an issue. So you're probably thinking, hey Zima, you've been mostly positive on this game, you're going to give it a good review, you're a huge Atelier fan now, right? Right? Let's just finish the review. When I was playing Ryza 2, I was thinking to myself, what are my favorite RPGs, and why do I like them? Some of my favorite RPGs have unforgettable plots, such as Final Fantasy X, have amazing gameplay loops and explorations, such as Xenoblade Chronicles X, amazing characters, such as Skies of Arcadia, or have all the above, such as Yakuza Like a Dragon. Ryza doesn't quite have any of that stuff. The combat is interesting, but nothing amazing. The core gameplay loop of questing, collecting, and crafting is serviceable, but not my cup of tea. Ryza is well written, but nothing about this game is terribly standout other than maybe Ryza's curves. Plus, Ryza is really low energy. Like, the hub town has people, but they all look dead on the inside. Same with the monsters in the open world. It's like they are here for the paycheck, much like Gust pumping out these games year after year. Think of it like a concert. Remember concerts? Anyway, what makes the difference between a good band and a great band is their performance. Ryza has some pretty good songs, but it doesn't have the performance. Meanwhile, someone like Dragon Quest XI not only has better songs, but a better performance and a better personality that makes it a top-tier experience. And look, I know this, Atelier games have fans who like it for that core gameplay loop, they like it for that character, but a game like Dragon Quest XI will get bigger overall because not only does it have the songs, it has the promotion, it has the personality, it has the performance, it has the things that make it stand out. Ryza is just serviceable. So with that said, is Ryza 2 a bad game? Honestly, I don't think so. Everything it does competently. And those who do like that laid-back style of gameplay will find a lot to like here. It does have that feeling of embarking with your friends on a summer adventure and growing up together and just enjoying life. There's a reason why this series has been going strong since 1997. So yeah, I still am not an Atelier fan, but I will say this game is actually pretty decent. Even if it doesn't appeal to me, I still think that, hey, if the footage looks cool, if you do want something a bit more laid back, I think that those of you who are looking for that kind of experience will find it here with Atelier Ryza 2. And I will say for those who have, or are playing on the Nintendo Switch, you'll be very, very, very happy that the Switch port of an Atelier game doesn't suck. So I'll leave it up to you to decide if you're going to pick up this game, but there's my take on it, at least. So, are you going to pick up Atelier Ryza 2? Let me know in the comments. And while you're down there, that'd be really nice if you could subscribe to the channel and hit the bell as well. And follow me on the social media, Twitter, Instagram, at ZMangs. You know what it is. And with that, I will sign out for now, and I will see you on the next video. Later, everyone. Take care. Wash your hands, wear your mask, and, yeah, have fun.